Picture this. You're driving to work, maybe running a few minutes late, and suddenly that check engine light pops on. Your heart sinks. You know logically that fixing it now might cost $300, but you look at your bank account and you have exactly $42 to your name until Friday. So, you ignore it. You turn up the radio to drown out that weird rattling noise. You pray. 2 months go by. Because you didn't have that initial cash, the car breaks down on the highway while Sarah is driving. Now, you need a tow truck, and that original broken part has destroyed the whole transmission. The repair is now $2,000. Because you can't get to work, you miss shifts and lose wages. That $50 problem just spiraled into a $3,000 catastrophe. This isn't just bad luck. This is a mathematical trap. My name is Mike, and I study the hidden mechanics of wealth. If you feel like one bad Tuesday could ruin your entire year, hit that subscribe button. Today, we aren't talking about stocks or crypto. We're talking about why being broke is actually the most expensive hobby you can have. Financial gurus love to blame your bad habits. They say, stop buying lattes or cancel Netflix, as if $12 a month is the problem. But that advice ignores a fundamental reality: the boots theory. The theory comes from a classic story about two men. Let's look at Mike and a wealthy guy we'll call Steve. Steve buys a pair of $50 boots. They're high-quality leather, built to last. Those boots will stay on his feet for 10 years. Now, look at Mike. Mike can't afford $50 today. He only has 10. So, he buys the cheap, cardboard sole boots. They look okay for a month, but they fall apart after one season. Next year, Mike has to spend another $10. And the year after that. Over those same 10 years, Mike has spent $100 on boots, double what Steve spent. And yet, Mike still has wet feet and sore toes. Steve is dry, comfortable, and $50 richer. This is the math of being poor. You are forced to pay a premium because you lack the capital to buy things right the first time. You might think, Mike, that's a nice story about boots, but how does that apply to my life in 2026? Well, around. This dynamic is everywhere. It's in the toilet paper you buy, the laundry detergent Sarah picks up, and even the way you pay for your phone. It's called the poverty premium. Now, let's talk about something even darker than groceries. Let's talk about the banking system. This is where I get genuinely frustrated because the system is designed to punish you for stumbling. Think about it. If Steve has $10,000 in his account, the bank treats him like royalty. No fees, free checks, and they even pay him interest. But what about Mike? Let's say things are tight. You have $20 left. A small subscription you forgot about, maybe a music app, hits for $25. You are now short by just $5. Does the bank say, "Hey Mike, looks like you're having a rough month. We got you covered"? No, they hit you with the $35 overdraft fee. Think about the math. You effectively borrowed $5 for a single day, and it cost you $35. That is an interest rate of 700%. If a loan shark did that on a street corner, they'd go to jail. When a big bank does it, it's just standard policy. Last year alone, banks made billions from people who had less than $1,000 to their names. The rich get paid interest, while Mike and Sarah pay the fees. It is a massive wealth transfer, disguised as a service fee, and it's designed to keep you exactly where you are. You have to see the mechanics of the system to break free. We need to look closer at the fine print. But it's not just about the money in your bank account, it's about the space in your head. When you're constantly worried about rent or that rattling car engine, your functional IQ actually drops. Your brain is so consumed with immediate survival that you physically lose the capacity to make long-term strategic decisions. This is the scarcity mindset. It's why Mike might take a high-interest payday loan or buy fast food instead of cooking, not because he's making a bad choice, but because his mental bandwidth is maxed out just trying to survive the day. The rich man doesn't just save money on boots. He saves the mental energy of not having to worry. He uses that brain power to invest, to learn, and to grow. So, how do we break this? It's not sexy advice, and it's not get rich quick. It's about building a buffer. That first $1,000 in the bank isn't just an emergency fund, it's a weapon. It allows Mike and Sarah to buy in bulk, to fix the small leak before the floor rots, and to say no to predatory FEs. Every time you choose quality over a quick fix, you are buying your future freedom. You are paying off the poor tax so you never have to pay it again. It's a hard climb, and the wind is in your face at the start. But once you understand the math, you stop playing their game and start playing yours. You buy the boots that last. You walk right out of that hole. If this sparks something in you, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Let's get everyone into a pair of high-quality boots. I'm Mike, and I'll see you in the next one.